YTBC, what's the deal? So I was on boxofscene.com. I will leave this article in the description as usual. And I was looking at the heading. It says Joshua may get advice from Vitali Klitschko for his title bout. So I'm curious to see what kind of advice he's going to get from Vitali. Being that the Klitschko style is a style that I've heard a lot of people say they got tired of that style. Now, majority of people saying it was Vladimir's style that was giving them, making them cringe. I'm not saying me, because he's a big guy and I'm a big guy myself, so I know how awkward it is to look fluid and to look, to look like a damn middleweight or welterweight. It's extremely hard, especially when you're 6'7", 6'8". I'm 6'5", you know what I mean? So I kind of get where they're coming from, but it's interesting that Joshua said he's going to seek, probably some advice from Vitali because the fighting styles are so different. I'm going to read a couple of quotes from this article. He says, Vitali's been at championship level, so it'll probably be Vitali I'll get advice from. He hasn't given me advice before, but he was just someone that came to mind. I was actually thinking because we're going to world championship level. It's good to speak to different champions, and Vitali was someone I thought of. He's retired. He's got no interest really in boxing. His brother, Vladimir, the former WBA, WBO, IBO, IBF champion, is at that level. They've been there for a while. It's kind of what to expect, and some advice is how to go about my business. We're at the level now. He's got an interest in the sport. We're at world championship level, so I hope I get direct line to Vitali. I'm sure Eddie Hearn, Joshua's promoter, can sort it out. And that's cool, that he's trying to get advice, but I'm curious of what the advice is going to be because, the fighting styles are so different. Vitali was good at fighting off his back foot. He did like to come forward. Sometimes him coming forward got him in trouble, like when he fought Corey Sanders and got rocked with that left hand. Almost got knocked down in that first round, but then he turned around when he can stalk you a little bit with his hands down. And Vitali has good reflexes for a big guy. It might not look like the reflexes of damn, Keith Thurman, or Adrian Broner, but for a big 6'7" guy, 6'8" guy, he can move his head pretty decent, lean back with punches, duck and roll from punches. He won't do it a lot, but he did it pretty decent for a guy that size. So I'm curious to see, what kind of advice he's going to get from Vitali. Hopefully it's to move your head and, use your feet a little bit more. Because right now Joshua's relying strictly on his size, his power, his strength. Vitali was a guy that didn't so much rely just on, size, power, and strength. He was a tough motherfucker. He can take a punch because he got hit with a good left hand from Corey Sanders that his brother, his Vladimir, couldn't take those punches. And Vitali was able to take the punches. But Vitali was a good back foot fighter. When he did come forward, he knew how to place his shots, select his shots. Excellent jab. Hopefully Vitali can give him some instructions on his jab and know how to just can control the ring by using your jab. You don't always have to control the ring by trying to knock somebody out right away. Joshua also went on to say, I'm not in there just to bang and knock my opponent out. You know in your heart when you went around. You know when you got someone hurt and when it's time to knock them out. I won't rely too much on the judges. I always like to give them an easy night, so I never learned about the scoring system. And that's how he fights, so he's not lying in that aspect. That's how he fights. He wants to knock you out. So I'm curious to see what is he going to learn from Vitali? What is Vitali going to teach him if he extends his hand out and give him some advice? And hopefully Joshua, whatever he gives to him as far as advice, I hope he sucks it up like a sponge, takes it all in. Because he's going to need, advice from a lot of guys. I'm not just sure he just goes in there and stretches Charles Martin completely out in one round. Both these guys are still unproven commodities, in my opinion. Anthony Joshua did, win a gold in the Olympics, went to the games. But shit, Charles Martin, he picked up boxing late and he went to the All-American heavyweight camp out there in Carson, California. And out of those guys, Dominic Brazil, who made it to the Olympics, Gerald Washington, who's a good prospect, although older, but former football player. Martin exceeded out of that camp and won him a world title. Whether you like the fashion he won it in or not, he still, has a world title to his claim. So I want to see what type of advice Vitali can pass along to the youngster, man. It's always good when the old heads can give back to the younger fighters. You see Larry Holmes giving Lucas Brown some pointers. Mike Tyson giving guys pointers, Evander Holyfield. It's good to see these old legends, the legends of the sport, giving back to the young guys. So hopefully Vili can teach him how to move his feet, throw combinations, work off his back foot, know how to control guys with the jab to set up your right hand. Everything doesn't have to be at the same pace, same rhythm, same pace, same rhythm, same pace. Those punches will start to be easier to counter once you get up there with higher level fighters, guys that know, okay, I'm going to start countering over the top of some of these hard shots. But we'll see. YTBC. I'm out.